3 rehab centers in Accra on Wednesday took delivery of luxury furniture and other fittings that once belonged to jailed drug baroness Nayele Office. The items were taken over by the state after she was jailed in the United Kingdom for drug trafficking and the trafficking of cocaine worth $5 million in a hand luggage. Joy News' Patricia Gasu was at the Narcotics Control Board where the items were displayed before being given out.
The luxury items made up of chandeliers, picture frames, furniture, light stands with bulbs and some electrical equipment were presented to 3 rehab centers. The beneficiaries are Daferic, House of St. Francis and Addictive Disease Unit at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital. The items, according to the Deputy Executive Secretary of the Narcotics Control Board, Michael Addo, is intended to enhance the work of the beneficiary rehab centers.
These are things that have been seized from drug barons or drug offenders. And what we do is that if you are arrested on drug offenses, you are not allowed to enjoy the proceeds of the drug trade. So we picked these items from a drug baron, and what we want to do is to present it to a rehab center, in fact 3 rehab centers. What the rehab centers are doing is that the drugs that they trafficked, the drugs that they dealt in, which has gone onto the public and they have consumed and are addicted to the drugs, we need to rehabilitate them. And in rehabilitating them, they need support. At the moment, the government doesn't have a rehab center. The very few ones that we are having around are private rehabilitation centers. And the Narcotics Control Board tries as much as possible to assist them. We send counselors there to give them counseling so that we can bring back these people into the society. We are making this presentation, telling the whole world that if you involve yourself in drugs and you are arrested, you will not live to enjoy the proceeds of the crime that you've committed. We will have to seize them. We have been seizing houses, we have been seizing vehicles, and these are furniture that we think will go a long way to help the rehab centers.
Head of the Addictive Disease Unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Logosu Amegashi, requested for more support since most of their furniture is worn out.
We need the furniture for group counseling. We need furniture. The ones that we have are old, they are dirty, they need to be replaced. We would have loved more. We'll be looking forward for computers and the rest. That will make our work a bit more easier. But the furniture is good because we are going to use new things, and then it helps in group counseling and one-on-one counseling if you have some of the chairs, so it is good.
Okay, but these ones look very fashionable.
Yes, we are fashionable people. And don't forget that the best of brains that God has created are the people with addiction. Okay. They have intelligence higher than every normal person. But unfortunately, the intelligence is used the wrong way, and that's what we're getting them back to use. We are not dealing with only people who are not professionals, because we have pastors, we have doctors, we have lawyers, we have pharmacists, we have soldiers, we have police, very renowned people who are afflicted with the disease of addiction. So the perception out there that it's a disease of a lower strata of society is false. It is not true at all. So yes, they may have suffered some psychological, also psychosocial deterioration because of the drugs, but they are qualified professionals who are afflicted with the disease of addiction.
Meanwhile, some seized narcotic drugs belonging to convicted drug dealers will on Thursday be destroyed by the Narcotics Control Board.
And already, the Narcotics Control Board says there's no conflict of interest when its officials auction and purchase property belong to convicted drug dealers. Responding to questions on propriety over the implementation of a recent court order to deny confiscated assets of drug dealers, including those of drag queen Nayele Office, the head of media relations at NACOP, Nanase Nkwantebisa, said a monitoring team has since been set up to ensure beneficiaries of these assets are those intended by the court. He, however, admits some properties confiscated in the past are being used by NACOP and its officials, and thus are permitted to purchase some of the properties when auctioned. He was speaking on the polls.
How have previous fixed assets been given out?
For what I have witnessed, yes, there have been some items that NACOP is currently using that were confiscated some years back.
So the NACOP, as in the office, is using those assets? Yes,
those assets, and it's being used for operational purposes. Auction do happen. Yeah, we do seize vehicles, and as I said, the process goes through the court. The court will give the order that auction these properties, movable items like what we did today, and the cars. Yes, I know last year we did similar exercise where the public had the opportunity to come and buy. Not officers took custody of all the cars. The public, it was. But
some of the officers took custody of some of the cars.
We bought them. We paid for them.
So NACOP seizes the vehicles, auctions them, and NACOP buys them. Is that okay?
No, not NACOP seizes and auctions them. The powers are given by the court.
The courts.
We place an advertisement in the dailies, the national dailies, for 21 days.
Isn't it a conflict of interest that you are seizing the vehicles and you're auctioning them and buying some? Is that correct? Is that okay?
You see, I wouldn't like to say anything of that sort, but that is the rule. That is the rule that the court has given the order. Yes, if first the opportunity is given to officers. If you have money, buy them.
Really?
And that is what.
Buy them for how much?
I don't have the figures in hand of head, but.
But is that okay? That sounds like conflict of interest.
No, that is not. To me, I don't see it as conflict of interest.
And Joy News has learned that while NACOP is still chasing other several properties of Nayele Ametefe, and the assets include millions of Ghana cedis held in at least 8 different banks and in 8 different bank accounts, and others that are still being investigated. For example, her East Legon residence is however being contested after her mother, who is living in that property, claimed ownership. A number of luxury vehicles she is known to have used were however found not to have been registered in her name. This is said to be a practice to be typical of persons who engage in illicit drug activities. About the subject of auctions, etc. An auction firm which had vehicles on its premises forcibly taken over by the state on Wednesday is accusing government of unfairly targeting it. Government's Asset Retrieval Task Force raided Gyan Auctioneer's Yard at Nsawam, Oforikuma, and took away 7 vehicles, including 5 SUVs it says belonged to the state. One of the partners, Do Abaga, is however challenging the seizure, insisting the company took possession of the vehicles on the orders of a court and is optimistic government may eventually be obliged to return them. Joy News' Daniel Dadze joined the asset retrieval operation and now reports.
Activities of the Assets Retrieval Task Force has been on the low-key after incidents involving top officials of the former government and the opposition party in some car seizure activities. The team, however, gave the indication it is still working hard at retrieving vehicles and other assets belonging to the state, which are with private individuals. On Wednesday, the operation began with a single objective: to retrieve 7 state-owned vehicles which are now in the possession of an auctioneer at Nsawam Oforikuma in the eastern region. The vehicles were 2 Ford Explorers, 2 Toyota Land Cruisers, 1 BMW saloon car, 1 Mitsubishi Pajero, and 1 Nissan Sentra. As early as 8 a.m., the team arrived at the auctioneer's garage, where they found more than 30 vehicles parked. The team immediately identified 6 out of the 7 vehicles and questioned the caretaker of the yard, William Barr, who expressed displeasure at the action of the task force, saying his outfit was being unfairly targeted. He explained the vehicles were being held in the yard on behalf of various courts in Accra. Member of the task force, Akwesia Bebrese, told journalists the team will reverse to their superiors with the information gathered and await further instructions.
We had information that there's a government vehicle at Nsawam, and we see SPD government vehicle, we see Land Cruisers, many cars, and we confronted the man. What he's saying is the car is a 6 cars from court, and he did not mention the court name. We wanted to know. He said no, he will not mention the court name. As I'm talking, we cannot judge it here. It's only the big mess at the up who can judge. Our own is just pick the information and send the signal to Ghana government. So we have finished.
So what's next after this?
The next after this, if you need any information again, after we contact our big mess, what they said, and then you move on. We will let you know, then we'll continue from there.
But speaking on the Pulse Wednesday afternoon, joint partner with the auction house giant auctioneers Do Abega said this is not the first time cars in his yard have been targeted.
Those vehicles are caught impounded vehicles.
Okay.
When I say caught impounded vehicles, I mean they are vehicles realized through what we call FIFA or Ferry. It is a judgment debt. For instance, someone goes to the bank to access a facility, and the person faults in payment. The plaintiff bank resorts to the court, and when judgment is given, a white docket is opened, and then we, the auctioneers, go into execution. When you go into execution, we attach both movable and immovable pieces of the defendant in question. So this is how come we came by those vehicles and parked in our garage. About 2 months ago, one Evans Mensah from Flagstaff House, they are also one of the task forces. They went to the same garage and took one V8, Land Cruiser 1 V8 vehicle away from Flagstaff House premises. We followed up just about 3 days ago, they released the vehicle. So I don't know what they mean by government vehicles.
In other stories, Group Chairman of RLG Communications, Roland Agambere, has been declared wanted by the Ghana Revenue Authority for defaulting in tax obligations to the tune of some 40 million Ghana cedis by one of his companies, a subsidiary company, ACI Construction Limited. Joint newspaper Nunu confirms that the new RLG offices located at Kaneshi Dance Bar is indeed under lock and key.
The RLG CEO, Roland Agambere, has been declared wanted by the Ghana Revenue Authority, and that is because one of his subsidiary companies, which is ACI Construction Limited, is said to be owing taxes to the tune of some 14 million Ghana cedis. And following from this, the GRA has actually moved to lock one of his offices, putting it under lock and key. So a Joy News will have come here to the Osu offices that we're very aware or familiar of as being the operation point of the RLG group. But what we realize is it looks like the place is not in operation at all. There are no decks, furnitures whatsoever. But an interesting point to note is up there you'd find a flexi banner that says RLG relocated. So
yeah, actually I don't know the issue about this place, but they just all of a sudden just start sacking up 1 or 2 workers, and they just broke down. I don't know why. Okay. The last 2 months we see that this has been changing. Okay. It's not like fish. Yeah, people normally used to come to buy things. Yeah, we see that. Actually, I know that they've moved from here to the State House.
There in Osu, the very office that's known to be the head offices of the RLG group happens to not be in operation. They've actually moved from there, and so we were there earlier, and then indeed residents did mention that they have moved away, but not sure where exactly the location is. We're here at the Kaneshi Dance Bar area, and right behind me is a building that you see. It's a 2-story building with a tile all over it and glass entrances. You'd realize behind me that this is a glass entrance, and it looks like it has been locked with some padlock and then chains. Basically, this is the RLG offices. It's a new one that is here at the dance bar area in Kaneshi. And if you can get close and see, you'd realize that, well, that's the entrance, and this a padlock that holds it with chains. And this follows from the Ghana Revenue Authority's claim that indeed Roland Agambere's subsidiary company, ACI Construction Limited, actually owes the Revenue Authority to the tune of 14 million Ghana cedis. And following from that, they've actually placed one of his assets under lock and key, hoping that in 14 days is able to actually pay back this money. Let's go ahead. I can see that there's another door that actually leads to this two-story building. Yes, indeed, you can tell from here, that's another entrance. This entrance is also under lock and key. It's a glass door that's been barricaded with a chain and then a padlock, very heavy ones, holding the entrance firm. And this should prevent staff from being able to make entry. There's some inscription on this sellotape here that I can see, and it says, keep off, property attached by Commissioner, IRS. If you look at the structure, there is little branding to suggest that this is the building of RLG. We do not know why this is so, but as we started following this story from the Osu area, we were told that indeed they moved barely a month or two ago, and so that probably suggests the reason why there's little branding to suggest that this indeed is the RLG offices. But this is actually the latest coming to you from the Dance Bar area where the new RLG offices is located. After 14 days, if Roland Agambere, CEO of RLG, is unable to come up with the money, what may happen is that the GRA will then liquidate this property and use the proceeds thereof to actually finance the tax that actually he has evaded over the time. Coming to you from the RLG offices at Kaneshi Dance Bar, my name is Favor Nunu, reporting for Joy News.
Well, that's Joy News, Favor Nunu. And the police have declared wanted 8 more persons believed to be connected with the murder of late Major Adam Mahama. A statement released on the Ghana Police Service Twitter handle named Yawamankwa, Kwejo Fojo, Kwabna Kenkeba, Tika, as well as Yaobwedu, Madam D. Diko, Erika Sante, and Kofi Ahinkra. Meanwhile, the state says it is now ready to begin the prosecution of some 32 of the nearly 60 suspects already arrested in connection with the lynching of the soldier Adentra Obuase in the central region on May 29 this year. The suspects, who appeared before a district court in Accra on Wednesday, were first discharged and then rearrested. Joy News' Joseph Akable has more.
So at about 10 a.m. on Wednesday, the 2 vehicles carrying the accused persons could be seen at the court premises, the Accra District Court here. Now, a total of 58 persons were brought into the courtroom at the initial hearing of the case. Some 34 persons were charged, but when the case was called on Wednesday, DSP George Amega, who is leading prosecution for the state, informed the court that they wanted to consolidate all 3 charge sheets into one charge sheet with some 32 persons are being charged by the police. They are clear in their minds that they want to charge them with conspiracy to commit murder and murder. The other 26 persons, they asked that they be discharged and were immediately rearrested by officers of the Ghana Police Service. The understanding the police service is putting across is that they are still conducting some investigations with regards to the 26 persons, for which reason they want to still keep them in custody. And when then the case is next called, if they have enough evidence to put against them, they will also be charged as well. One gentleman among the 32, we are being told, is less than the age of 18. It was a concern raised by the judge, and the police explained that they had information that suggested that he was indeed more than 18 years of age, but the judge pointed out that if that information is not tendered into the court as evidence, I mean, that nothing shows that indeed he is less than or more than 18 as is being told. So he ordered that that gentleman be taken to a bus-stop pending evidence supplied by the police to indicate that he's indeed more than 18 years of age for him to be kept in police custody. As expected, this is a case that has generated so much public attention, and quite a lot of people made it to the courtroom, and they could simply not hide their interest. Another interesting thing is the fact that for the many who were brought into the courtroom, they had to be identified one after the other. Their names were mentioned with the corresponding numbers for them to make their way into the courtroom. But with regards to the substantive matter itself, a hearing is expected to continue on July 6, where we'll have an indication of whether more people will be charged in addition to the 32, or the police will stick to the 32 they have put before the court so far. Reporting for Joy News, Joseph Akable, Accra District Court.
And that's it for the latest news we have. But we'll be back with the latest newspaper headlines, and we'll look at the online portal. We have a couple of them in the studio. But we'll be asking you what 3 things you will be grateful for this morning. And I have to thank my good, sweet lady, Patricia Gasu, for all the best motivations I tend to read for you each morning. And today, we've been asking you the three things. And you said, good morning, my condolences to the departed captain. May you so rest in peace. And then you said 3 things. Good morning. And Ghana is a religious country made up of Christian and Muslim, yet the crime rate is very high. The unfaithfulness among Ghanaians is just too high. We have to change our attitudes and behavior. Zion from Wa, I agree with you perfectly. I think I need to post this on our Facebook page, and I'll do that. Good morning. And Mama V, where is our Bibles and Qurans? These our leaders don't think of we the poor people in Ghana. Stealing state properties. A shame to them, Fatah Tamale. I would want to know what you're thinking or alluding the story to. And have this one. I said 3 things. And you say, and this one from Ejaisua Kaku Isiama Lembele. You said, good morning. First, I would want to thank God for my life since neonatal period to now. Hey, bravo. Secondly, I'm thankful to God for the life of my family. Good. And he said, thirdly, finally, I'm thankful to God for a peaceful country. I love this one. Okay. And this one is, you said, so my name is Prince Opoku, and I'm a teacher teaching at Achim Kwabeng. I have made some reservations and would like to channel it through you. And you're saying that there's a problem facing Ghanaians with regard to examination of practices. And you say you have observed all those things, and that's your number is that. Okay, thank you very much. Hi, Roland. I'm thankful for my life, the life of my family, and the life of my enemies. And that's from Hello Richard in Akachi. And from Takrade, we have Daniel. And so I wish my brother Solomon Nkrumah, a police couple at Wamfie in the Bonafide region, happy birthday. So Solomon Nkrumah, good morning to you and happy birthday. So those are some of the comments we have this morning. Please keep them coming. We have the short codes, but more importantly, we have our online platforms and also the WhatsApp pages.